Hello, my dear. Rhonda Constant, your favorite hometown medium, physical energy healer, oracle card advisor, paranormal investigator, voice for your loved ones. How are you today? I haven't done a reading for you before that I know of, so I'd like to explain real quick. I see, hear, feel, sense, know. They talk to me, but they also show me pictures, and I call it spiritual charades. They never waste a message. There's always a reason for whatever they show. So when they show me the picture, I'll describe it to you the best way I can. They won't give me all the details because the details are none of my business. They'll give me just enough so hopefully you'll understand what they're talking about. If it doesn't make any sense at this time, you'll either remember it later, you'll see it later, or somebody else will validate it for you and go, I know what he's talking about. Like I said, they never waste a message. They tell us what we need to know, not always what we want to know. So we communicate the best way we can. It's not an exact science, so sometimes you got to stretch it outside the box a little bit. It usually works pretty good. It's their show. I let them run the show within reason. They are welcome to say anything they want to. Okay, so John's walking. He's walking in and he's holding up a pipe, like a smoking pipe. Even if he didn't smoke it, there's some significance in this pipe. Maybe you smoked one, maybe your dad did, maybe he did. He's talking about when he passed that there was a few little squabbles over silly little things, like maybe a pipe that he owned, maybe some little trinket that he owned. He says he thinks everyone was fair. Excuse me. He says, quite honestly, I don't give a rat's ass what they did with my stuff because I don't need it anymore. He see, once we get up there, that couch and that car and that whatever doesn't mean squat to them. So that's kind of where he's going with that. So I didn't need it anymore. He said it was all up to what. Okay. He says it's how everybody felt down here when they got done. And somebody got something, could be this pipe. He's making me want to cry, so it's a heartfelt thing. As insignificant as just a pipe, but it had so much meaning for them that they just kind of held it like this and they cherished it, and he knows that. So even if it isn't a pipe, it's something small like that that wouldn't mean shit to anybody else, and he knows that. Okay, he's showing me a pair of shoes. They look like black dress shoes, men's black dress shoes, but he's like focusing, making me focus in on the shoelaces on it. It's got one little skinny shoelace tied on this black men's dress shoe. So I don't know if you've recently, see, they don't always explain everything. So I don't know if you've recently worn a black pair of dress shoes and had trouble with keeping them tied. He had trouble. No, if he was older, he might have had trouble tying it, but that I don't think that's it. He's not saying. He's making a big deal out of it. And he's still showing me those. He's not going to explain. All right. So, Okay, so he's going back. He's going back to what he was talking about. So I don't know where that shoe fit in. Anyways, going back where he's talking about, as long as everybody got what they felt they needed, not wanted, but needed, that he is perfectly happy with that because he really doesn't care where the material things went to. Okay, now he's going to when he was getting ready to pass. Like I said, I let them run the show. He see where we're going with this. He's showing me a very beautiful large angel behind the head of his bed, which is very normal. I see it in almost every single one. And I've asked them not to show me exactly how they passed or what they felt because I had so many horrendous ones that just broke my heart that that's something I've asked them to take out of my readings. But he's showing me feeling extremely peaceful, extremely full of love, extremely safe, extremely ready to go, secure, knowing it was time. I can't see the people real clearly. Sometimes they'll show me the exact people that were around him. Okay, above, to the right of his head, back behind a little bit, the angel's back here, is a female. She's got lighter colored hair. She does not look like she was elderly when she passed. I'm trying to get him to tell me who it is. Somebody in spirit that was waiting for him and standing there, and he knew it. When we get ready to pass like that, we already kind of have 1 foot over on the other side, so we can see them. If you go into any nursing home or anything like that where people deal with this all the time, they'll tell you, they talk about their loved ones like they're talking to them in the corner because they see them. They honestly, they get us ready to go. They let us know we're going to be okay when we leave. He's not telling me who this woman was that was waiting for him. I was going to say it was his mother, but it feels more like an aunt or that type of feeling, like a little bit related, but a little bit distant from him. I don't mean distant as, oh, heck, I'm muttering too much, sorry. Anyway, so he knew she was waiting there. He actually held his hand up to her, so he would have put his hand up pretty much like this while he's laying down because she was right back there and he wanted her to hold his hand. And he felt very safe with her. Okay, there was more than one person in the room. He says, I don't know if they administered any drugs to him, but he seemed like he was kind of out of it. That's probably not the right word to use. But that's our body doing that. His soul, his spirit heard each and every one of you, each and every one of you, and knew that you were there. He's not giving me any exact relationships of who's there, so I know that sounds kind of wishy-washy. It's his game. Did he have an older car that he had kept for years? Maybe one that he owned like buku years ago? An old antique, maybe even car that he really loved that he kept? Or maybe somebody already had it in the family. Maybe somebody already acquired it from him. He's mentioning that. So right now he's just kind of throwing things out there, which they do. And he's showing me a rabbit. So I'm not sure if you used to go rabbit hunting with him or if somebody here owned or owns rabbit, or maybe he got a rabbit for somebody here, or he's being kind of unclear. I can't twist his arm. I think he's a little unsure about what we're doing. And that happens with the little bit older generation. This is grandma. Grandma was there waiting for him. Grandma was. Don't know if he's talking about your grandma or his grandma. See, we're being awful vague here. I don't like this. Let me ask him something. You are a beautiful person in your heart and soul. He admired the peace that you have within you, the peace and the love that you have within you. He says you have been an example of that to others. Now he's kind of smacking his hands, kind of like this. He says that is what is important in this world. People don't get it. That new couch is not important. You're doing the important thing in this world, and you're teaching that to others, and you're spreading that on to others. It's not the material things. He's showing me that your path in this life has been, a lot of people, when they show me that, their path goes like this and goes uphill. Yours is going, you've been on your path this whole time. Oh, he says there was hiccups in the beginning. I think that was way back when you were young. We all have those. He said he admired you. He's He's showing you like when you were little, and I asked them not to go back too far, so at least it's something you can remember. If you go too young, then you guys can't remember. But he's showing a rope swing in a tree. I feel like it's at his house, and you're doing kind of acrobatics in it, and you fall out. All kids do that, but there's something significant about this, or he wouldn't be mentioning it. Did you break your arm? Or just maybe have it in a sling for a while? He's trying to bring up a memory. He'll do a couple things to validate who he is, that it's him. He's saying, don't be afraid when it comes to be your time. And that's not going to be soon. That's not what he's saying. He says, because him And this female that was standing by his head will be waiting for you. They will be the ones that you see when you leave. This woman, she did not die when she was elderly, but she was older, old like me, I guess. And she had curly permed hair from a permanent, if that helps any at all, because I don't want to dwell on her. He says, whether you saw it or not, I left with a smile on my face because I was surrounded by so much love in my life. If you give love, you get love. He wants you to have that peace within your soul while you're here. Find that peace within your soul. And he says, then you leave on a clean slate. You've heard a tinkling, and it's a familiar tinkling. What kind of tinkling is it? You're going to have to let me know. He's showing me two different things. He's showing me car keys, and he's also showing me like a little tinkly bell. So I don't know if it's a sound in between there. Now he's showing me a an open-end wrench. That's not, I don't consider that a tinkling when they rattle together. You're just going to hear this sound every so often, out of the blue. Maybe all three sounds, or maybe it's a mixture of them. I'm not sure. But he held up car keys, held up the little bell, held up an open-end wrench. So, you know how the wrenches clink in the drawer? Maybe that's the sound, but it doesn't matter. It's a tinkling. It'll be light. It won't be real loud. Probably not. You're going to hear it in your head, probably. You may not hear it with these ears. I always say we have ears up here. I call them telepathic ears. You hear this noise, you can be in Walmart, you can be outside, you can be in your vehicle, you can be sitting there watching TV, and you think you hear this little tinkle. Know that that's him. Know that that's him stopping in to say, hey, I love you. So make sure you validate him, acknowledge him, tell him you love him, and ask him to bring you more signs if you want more signs. He feels like you're very much at peace with yourself. That you kind of have the same energy that he had, that you were closer than grandson, grandfather, and you were kind of on that same level of peaceful, loving, this is joy. And that's what you're supposed to give to the world. You're supposed to teach that to those around you so they'll pass it on, so it'll go on down the line. Now he mentions a hot rod, but he's showing me an older car. So we're back. I don't know if it's the same car that he showed before, or maybe you guys like to go to car shows where people fixed up older cars. Now he's showing me a barn, like there was one kept in a barn. So I don't know if this was his or somebody else's in the family. Okay, now he's showing me a picnic table outside, but it looks like it's in somebody's yard. It has like a red and white checkered tablecloth on it. There's corn on the cob. There's all kinds of food like that, just watermelon, all kinds of food. It's a family get-together. Don't know if this is something that you just recently did, getting ready to do, or if this is something that you guys did with him a lot. See if he's gonna give me any other clues. I don't like to be too vague. It's all up to him. He's saying watch for this red and white plastic tablecloth. I think it's plastic. It looks plastic with the big squares on it. He's making a point of showing me that. So that's significant. He's talking about Bonanza. Us old people all like to watch Bonanza back in the day. And Little Hoss. Did you have some of the Bonanza figures, or maybe the horses too, and stuff when you were little? And he's shown me Little Hoss again. Or Hoss, I guess I shouldn't say. It's Little Joe and Hoss. Forgot. I wasn't a Little Joe fan. I was a Hoss fan. He says, my boys. My boys. So I don't know if you have a brother or if he's talking about you and your dad, but he says, my boys. My boys. And I feel that big sense of love. He's a very peaceful man. And he comes over here and he whispers in my ear. He says, tell him I'm happy. Tell him I made it. Tell him it was beautiful. Tell him I'm at peace. Tell him I love him. Tell him it's all right. And he will do the same. I'm not sure what that means, but I think he means you'll be the same way in your life as he was in his. He mentions the family unit, keep it together. Be the king. Now he's showing me a large dog. It's sitting there with him. It looks like a German Shepherd. It may not be exactly a German Shepherd, but it looks like a German Shepherd with a face on it. And he's calling it King. And this dog is sitting on his right side. And he's panting. And John is petting him. So whoever had this dog, he wants them to know that the dog is with him. He's safe. He's loved. This is somebody's precious fur baby that he wants to pass on. That he's okay. I'm not sure what that was. I think that never happens. It looked like just like couple of random spirits, a woman and a young boy passing by in front of him. Did he? This woman was dressed. That was weird. That was really weird. That does not happen. Did he possibly lose a brother like when he was really young? I almost felt like it was John's mom and some really young boy, and she was holding his hand, and they just passed in front of him, and she was dressed in clothes from way before. Like maybe it was his mother and some young boy really, really close to him, and they just made themselves known. That's not the way they usually bring them through. I think they butted in. That's rare. Mentioning watermelon again. Your daughter Cheyenne has heard him say hi or hey, hi. One of those with the H sound. If you hear it with these ears, if they're talking to you with these ears, you're only going to hear it in one ear. If you hear it up here, you're just going to hear it. I know that sounds a little crazy. But she's heard him say hi as he's walking by. Probably even felt a little breeze off of him. He often hangs out in the living room when you're sitting in your recliner or whatever your comfy chair is. He's often sitting on the couch. You might get the smell of smoke. He's got this pipe again, so I don't know if he smoked a pipe or what the deal is with the pipe. But that little whiff of smoke, and you like I said, you can be in Walmart, in your car, outside. Doesn't matter. You get this little whiff of tobacco. Tell him you love him, validate him, acknowledge him. Know that he's there to bring you peace. I don't think that he makes himself really known, and a lot of them don't, because they kind of hang back and they go, I don't know if I should make any noises or do anything because I don't want them to think their house is haunted. They won't know it's me. So let him know that when you get those things that you know it's him and that you love him, and ask him to bring you more. Invite him in if you want him in. I promise you 1,000%. I think I say this every reading. They can hear you. They can see you. You just can't hear and see them so well. So talk to him, tell him you love him. He has a great deal of peace and love for you. And he just makes me feel like calm. Now he's showing me he's dancing. He has happy feet. He liked to be happy. He liked to have people around him happy. And he still does. And he'll bring that feeling, that energy into your home when he comes in. They can truly help more than you know from that side. He's mentioning Grace, the name. Now I stink at names, really stick at names. So it's at least a female with a G or a GRA name that he's acknowledging. Be at one with spirit. Be at one with your own spirit. Don't forget where you came from. Okay, with that, he's leaving. Okay, he didn't give a lot of validations. You know, and that's a requirement that I ask him to at least bring a couple of them. So I hope there was something in there you could validate. He's so peaceful. He's so sweet. So I hope you got something out of this. Don't forget the sounds and the smells, and you'll realize that he's still there with you. And talk to him. Ask him for help with certain things, but he's more about helping you with the peace and the coming to one with your spirit and soul. And he can help with that. Ask him to. You don't even have to say it out loud. We talk telepathically. I have talked to a real life person right in front of me telepathically. It's totally possible. So you don't have to talk out loud and people think you're crazy talking to yourself. He'll hear you, I promise. Much love to you. Rhonda Constant, your favorite hometown reading, physical energy healer, oracle card advisor, paranormal investigator, voice for your loved ones. Thank you, my dear.